I was not the best coach. We did not have the best talent. Every employee is bigger than the brand, right? When we invest in people, it's going to be beneficial. The companies exist because of the people within them. When we're in organizations, we do not take the time to develop our people. We lose sight of who gets the work done and the value of developing our people inside of our organizations. Legacy is not what you build, but who you build.
Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
If you're a high-performing salesperson, you know your time is your most valuable asset. So why waste it on tasks that someone else could handle even better? That's where our friends at Work Better Now come in.
Work Better Now virtual assistants are specially trained to help sales professionals like you fully leverage your time. Imagine offloading administrative work, calendar management, data entry, and follow-ups so you can focus on what you do best, building relationships and closing deals.
With a dedicated assistant at your side, you'll have the bandwidth to grow your pipeline, strengthen client connections, and crush your sales goals.
It's simple. Free up your time, maximize your impact. Let Work Better Now help you work smarter, not harder. Your sales career deserves this game-changing advantage.
Visit workbetternow.com today to learn more and get started, because your time isn't just money, it's everything. Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Hey, great seeing you, Darrell. Another great day here at Selling from the Heart. Something tells me we're going to have a fantastic conversation. I love hanging out with great guests and just contributing to the Selling from the Heart community.
You're going to enjoy getting to know our friend Nick Reich. Hey, welcome. If you're new to the podcast, we're glad you're here. It's the middle of the summer and we got so many great things going on at Selling from the Heart. But the best thing we have going is the people in this movement of authenticity and trust right here in this sales profession we all love. Larry, who are we giving a shout out to this week?
Oh, you know this person really well, Mr. Darrell Amy. Joe Barrow. I so appreciate you. Thanks for reaching out to me a couple days ago. Can't wait for your CEO to read Selling in a Post-Trust World.
Oh, absolutely. So cool. Every time hockey season is here, I think of Joe. So Joe, hockey season's over. It's about to begin again, and I'm sure we'll connect. Hey, today's guest is tackling a challenge every sales professional and every sales leader faces. How do you build a high-performing team without burning people out, losing trust along the way? Nick Reich believes the answer starts with developing people first. Nick is a leadership coach. He's an author. He's the CEO of Abundant Empowerment and CoLab, where he helps organizations create high trust, high performance cultures that actually sustain results over time. Nick's upcoming book, Every Player is Bigger Than the Program, delivers a message sales teams need right now. When people feel valued, connected, and empowered, performance accelerates. For sales leaders, that means stronger engagement, better accountability, and more consistent execution. And of course, for sales professionals, it means clarity, it means confidence, and the ability to perform at a higher level without losing yourself in the process. And Nick's here with us today. Nick, welcome to Selling from the Heart. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Darrell. Hi, Larry. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. When I heard the clarity word, Nick, you got me already.
Larry's hooked. Hey, as we get started, Nick, you know the question we ask every guest on the Selling from the Heart show, and that is, what does Selling from the Heart mean to you?
Yeah, as someone who's never actually had sales in my title, it's been a really fun question to wrestle with. But I think selling from the heart for me is leading from the heart, which is living from the heart. We are integrated when we're able to have our sales, our leadership, and how we live coming from a heart space. I think sales and leadership really at its core is an act of belief. We're asking people to believe that what we do or what we have can make their life better, can make their life different. But I believe they can't do that until they believe you, and until you are able to see them as a person, not their title, not their potential for revenue, but actually see them as a human. And that is really where selling and leading from the heart starts and ends with me.
Mm-hmm. We got to bottle that thing up. I'm going to take what you just said on the road with me, Nick, but I'm glad that you brought up this leading from the heart first. What walk us through this? Cause so many times, obviously with selling from the heart, we'll get the answers through a sales lens, but you took this in a different direction. What's leading from the heart? What's this all about?
I think a lot about, wherever we go, there we are. So who we are at home, who we are in our community, who we are at work, we want those things to be integrated. At Abundant Empowerment, we call it being a full circle leader. I'm really starting with myself and leading from the inside out. So really leading from the heart is connecting to who I am as a person, what my core values are, what I believe, what is my why, what is my purpose, and everything else kind of ripples out from there. Then how I impact my teams, how I'm, impacting my customers, the people that I work with. But it really starts with understanding ourselves and leading from the heart, because sales is leadership, right? So there's not a big difference there, but who we are is going to come out and be a huge part of how we lead, how we sell, and interact with the folks that we engage with every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you're saying about sales as leadership. We say this so often in the podcast, and for our friends who are in sales, I want you to really tune into this, because sales is leadership. John Maxwell said leadership is influence. Sales is influence. It's all the same thing. The only difference with salespeople is we don't have anyone on the payroll. We've got lead volunteers, if you will, people to become clients and all of that. And so the principles of leadership, I believe, and that's why I'm so excited to have this conversation, are so powerful. Hey, by the way, Nick, congratulations on the book that's coming out. Every player is bigger than the program. I'm excited about this book. Talk to us about why our friends listening need to understand. What does it mean that every player is bigger than the program?
Yeah, I grew up in sports. I played high school and college basketball. I coached basketball for a long time. And I've heard so many coaches say no player is bigger than the program. Right. And when I started coaching at a small inner city charter high school in Indianapolis, way back in 2007, we did not have a gym. We did not have a program. There was no
program.
There was nothing, right? And in 4 years of coaching, we never actually had a gym. We played all road games. And yet, fast forward 4 years, we were the fastest team in Indiana history to ever win a high school basketball state championship.
Wow.
So my philosophy then was we exist to serve the kids, not the other way around. I am there as a leader. I'm there as a coach to support them, to encourage them, to help them grow, to build the foundation for their success. And that does not mean necessarily winning basketball games. That was the last game that I ever coached. My career has taken a very different path. I've led multiple organizations, including a global health organization, working in a half dozen countries around the world. I've coached leaders around the country. And one of the things that I kept coming back to was, what were the ingredients? I was not the best coach. We did not have the best talent. So what were the ingredients that created a high-performing team and culture that allowed us to do what no one had done in the history of Indiana basketball, which, for folks that follow basketball, it's a big deal.
Sure it is.
And so we started having these conversations of what are other examples of teams and cultures and leaders that I've seen, and what were the ingredients to make those things successful. And that became the People First Playbook. So I say it is a leadership book through a basketball story. We tell the story of building that team and all of the things that went into building that team and culture and winning a state championship. and being able to do it in a way that allows leaders and teams to have a framework that they can implement in their organizations, and something we work and talk with leaders and teams about every day. So it's highly transferable. But I believe that you ask about the title. Yes, every player is bigger than the program, but I also believe that extends to the work that we do every day. Every employee is bigger than the brand, right? The companies exist because of the people within them, not the other way around. And I think we lose sight of who gets the work done and the value of developing our people inside of our organizations.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so I applaud you for what you're saying. I'm gonna take a sports angle on this because Nick, I know you're gonna get this, and so are a vast majority of our listeners. This whole concept of people first and so forth. I have to go to the athletic route on this. Is athletes are developed,
right?
They're disciplined. They bring consistency. They're held to high degrees of accountability. Somehow, somewhere, the road takes a different turn once we start getting into the workforce. Where do you think this might go wrong when it comes to the development of people, and why is it so optional as opposed to discipline, consistency, and all of that if we want to have this people first culture?
Yeah, well, even outside of the people first there, I think you're spot on. We say it all the time. It's like, when you would never dream of having a high performing athlete of any sport without nowadays not just a coach, but multiple coaches. Yet when we're in organizations, we do not take the time, the resources to develop our people. So it's not just external coaches. It is even within our organizations. How are we focusing on developing our people? Because it's so naturally ingrained into sports. The way we get better as a team is to continue to develop individuals to perform at their highest. And we miss that oftentimes within our organizations. It's prioritization, it's intentionality. It's just the ability to think about how we are going to develop people, because it's hard. It's individualized, right? Everyone develops at different paces. They need different ways of communication. They need different ways of learning. So it is a challenge, but I believe that in the long run, it certainly pays off for organizations who develop their people over those that are really focused on short-term outcomes and don't make that investment.
Yeah, I love this story about the charter school basketball team, right? So I think a lot of times, I'm talking to our friends who work for mid-market and small companies, especially small companies. You go, well, if someday we can get the company up to this point, then we can, have a training program, develop our people, invest in coaching, do all of that. But maybe we got this whole thing upside down because, here you are, no gymnasium, no recruiting, no nothing except for coaching and culture.
Yep.
And saying, we're going to build these people up. We're going to build the mindset and skill set and the drive and all of that. And there, next thing you know, you're winning state champions. And I think, I don't know, I'm curious your thoughts on this, but I think sometimes the smaller players think, when we get here, when we get a gym, when we get whatever, we'll be able to do stuff. Yeah. But maybe we'll be able to invest in coaching. We'll be able to do training, but maybe it's so if we want to get here, well, let's invest in our people, right?
Yeah, that's 100% right. That it's investing in the people first. And it looks different. Not everyone, it's not necessarily resource intensive. It's not bringing in, all of these executive coaches necessarily. Like, that's not what it means or what it takes. Mm-hmm. But I do think investing in developing people, because one of the things that I think a lot about is we're focused on the wrong things, right? We're focused on the wrong outcomes. And when we're thinking about sales quota, when we're thinking about quarterly revenue reports, when we're thinking about some of these things, we're focused on that outcome as opposed to the process and the people that it's going to take to get us there. And I believe that you talked about inverting that. If we focus on the people and we focus on developing them, then they're going to take us farther and reach those goals faster and likely even beyond than what we wanted in the first place. So we were not successful because we won a basketball game. If we would have lost that state championship game, we would have been no less successful because of the impact that we had on developing people, we had on people's lives, we had on the outcomes of their lives beyond the team, beyond our organizations. And that's really what matters. And I think, to your point, when we invest in people, it's going to be beneficial to our organizations. It's going to be beneficial to our sales quotas. It's going to be beneficial to our long-term success, but it's just a different shift. And it does take, again, a word I use probably more than any other is intentionality. You have to be very intentional about the work of developing your people and knowing your people if you want to be able to ride what's possible with your people leading the way.
So let's speak to this. Let's just take this intentionality for a second, Nick. What does intentionality look like? So, you're speaking to a group of leaders who might be, waffling on the fence on this, and they go, the intentionality word just slapped me across the face just now. And now I got some stark reality looking at me. What's intentionality in developing people? Where does somebody go, say, the first 90, 120 days with this?
Yeah. And I believe everything starts with intentionality around my purpose. If you are not clear as a leader, a sales manager, director, whomever, if you're leading people, if you're not very clear on your purpose, what are my core values? What are my non-negotiables? What is my why? And everything I do, the decisions I make, the leadership, decisions and conversations, they need to be grounded in that why and that purpose. That's an intentional act, an intentional decision every day. And I think that on the book end of that, I talk a lot about legacy. And I want leaders to start defining the legacy that they are leaving, because it's not a matter of whether or not you are leaving a legacy. You absolutely are every single day, in every single conversation, in every single interaction. I say a legacy is not what you build, but who you build. So start to define the type of leader, the type of legacy that you are leaving, and be very intentional around the way you engage, the way you act. And again, this is not low. You talked about accountability earlier, Larry. This is not soft leadership. It is not low expectations. It is not low accountability. I believe it's quite the opposite, but it's the intentionality of how I'm showing up, how I'm leading, because we sleepwalk through so much of this, focused on short-term results, focused on the tyranny of the moment, the things that are drawing my attention now. And I'm not being intentional around how I spend my time, how I'm leading people, how I'm encouraging, how I'm connecting. All of those things are critical. But if you don't intentionally do it, then things will get lost in the shuffle and it won't be a priority.
But I just zero back in on the legacy component of this for our friends in sales. We think about this in terms of leadership. If you think about this in terms of sales, like what is the legacy when you look back over, the decades of your career that you want to leave behind? And then the values and the vision and purpose and all of that. I know we all work for companies that have vision and values, maybe in a brochure, maybe lived out. But what are your vision and values? What's your purpose? What legacy do you want to leave? And leading with that, to me, as a sales professional, has the opportunity to totally redefine and revolutionize what you do all day and how you bring yourself to the market.
Everything is about people. It's about relationships, right? And the sales folks listening know that as well as anyone. And you're right, Darrell, that legacy that they're leaving every single day is the way they treat people, the way they interact with people, the way they're communicating with kindness and respect, and all of that matters to the people that you're engaging with, the people that you're selling to, but really it matters to you, right? Like it should matter to you and how you want to show up and the type of person that you are and you want to be. Because again, we get so caught in sales folks. I have a friend that talks about commission breath. He's like, you can smell it a mile away. And how are you able to get past the tyranny of the next sale, the next quota, whatever it is, and we would say that I'm going to connect, I'm going to build relationships, I'm going to treat people fairly, with kindness, with respect. And that's the calling card that I'm coming with. And again, I think that is going to open up a lot of doors for, and it's the work that you all do every day. I mean, it's selling from the heart. It's treating people with kindness and respect and fairness and all those things that you advocate for in the work that you do.
Now, I want to camp on this and really emphasize this for a moment in this how you show up, because we're massive believers in you are responsible for how you show up. Now, I'm going to make this sales centric for a moment, but I'm going to play this out, and I'm curious your thoughts is, as a sales professional, you control this, how you show up. That's your responsibility. And it's the things that we're talking about here with Nick in this great conversation. Same applies to leaders. You are responsible for how you show up, and you're creating this environment for how other people show up. Thoughts on that, Nick?
Yeah, I was in a conversation actually just this afternoon, and with a leader. He said, I've come to realize over the last couple of years, the founder growing a business, he said, being a bad leader is a choice. He said, I've worked with bad leaders. He said, it's a choice. Some people are making it consciously, but most people are making it unconsciously. And it comes back to the intentionality piece, right? Like there are choices that we are making every day on how we spend our time, how we show up, how we engage. And some of these things are hard because it's easy to get caught up in negativity and fear and all of the things that impact how we're able to show up. But I think you're right on there, is just being able to, because again, it's not about sales. It's not about leadership. This is who we are as people when we're engaging, human to human in any type of, sales, leadership, work, team scenario. And that's really where, when we're able to meet each other there, then, we're having a lot of choice in how we show up, how we interact, and how we engage.
I think that's so powerful. I think about sales leaders. I mean, you listen to the things that sales leaders, we complain about, right? People aren't accountable. People aren't following through. People don't have their heart in this. You go, well, how are you going to change it? It sounds like change starts right here, doesn't it?
Well, see, the only way to change the world is one person at a time. And that starts with you, right? And then again, when I say the world, I mean, literally your team, your family, your division, your department, whatever that is, right? Because all of those systems are influenced and impacted by each of us individually. And so the only real thing that we have that control over that Larry mentioned is how we show up, how we interact, how we're, showing up as people, showing up as leaders. So yeah, I think that's exactly right, Darrell.
Just speaking of leadership for a moment, I'm just going to take this in a different direction in the short time that we have left. And it's been a great conversation. Thank you for hanging out with us. Is when you think of leadership, who is your biggest inspiration? Who influenced Nick to become the person he is when it comes to leadership?
Yeah, Larry, you asked me the question about this gavel over my shoulder, and I mentioned, so a gentleman named Jim McClelland is certainly a leadership mentor of mine and one of the best leaders that I know. And he's just played a huge role in my life and career. And, it's his wisdom, it's his humility, extremely entrepreneurial. But if, you get him in a conversation, he's going to tell you about the things that he tried and failed, which led to all of the immense success and things that he had. So, certainly Jim McClelland in Indianapolis is one of the great leaders in my life and career, and certainly has had the most impact on me, how I think about leadership, how I think about, working and engaging with others. Jim's played an immense role in my life and impacted, millions of people probably across Indiana.
I love it. Well, every player is bigger than the program. Our listeners, pre-order this book. It's coming out really, really soon this fall. It's going to be so exciting. What are people going to get out of this book? What are some of your favorite things that are going to be a massive boost and surprise to your readers?
One, I think it's a good story, right? I mean, it's a fun story. So, the storytelling aspect of it, I think people can connect with. I think there's some immediate things. The thing that is the most helpful, at least the feedback that I've gotten, is there are immediate things that a leader, someone working with a team, can implement. You talked about the resources, and I don't have the time or the resources to invest in all of these things. The framework that's presented in the book isn't it's not an expensive framework. You can do all of it for nothing, right? I mean, it's being able to say, what is my purpose? How am I leading direction? How am I connecting with people? How am I building a culture of excellence through accountability? How am I enabling others and clearing their path to success? And how am I building my legacy? So, all of these are things that leaders can engage with and think about and implement in short order without needing to, hire a bunch of external folks. So I think that combination of practical leadership framework that someone can apply, along with a good story, makes for a good combination.
Man, hey, Darrell, I got sales leaders. Yeah, Larry.
Hey, I got to squeak in one more question. Sorry, Darrell. I didn't mean to derail you as we wrap, but I just got to ask this, Nick. If you can define leadership in one sentence, what's that sentence? What's that going to sound like? And I know I'm chucking you on the spot.
Yeah, no. I'm leadership is love with standards.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Great question. Brilliant answer. Leadership is love with standards. Okay. I think that's a writer downer, as we like to say here. Well, hey, I know all of our sales leaders want love with standards. They're going to enjoy this book. And I know all of our sales professionals listening in are going to want to grab a couple copies of this, one to read yourself and others to give the leaders that are your clients and prospects. I think everyone's going to benefit. So I know everyone's asking the question I'm asking: how do you get more Nick Reich in your life?
Yeah, abundant empowerment. It's a mouthful, but abundantempowerment.com. You can find more information there. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Nick Reich, here in Indianapolis. So find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, abundantempowerment.com is the best spot. All of our information is there. You can reach out directly, and I would love to find a time to meet with anybody that is interested in the book, interested in the work that we do, interested in just having a conversation about how we can continue to develop more people first leaders.
Love it. Nick, thank you so much for sharing time, for all the work you're doing, and for putting all of this together. What a gift to the world. You're a true inspiration. We appreciate you.
Both. I appreciate it. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Darrell.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Awesome. What a great conversation. Leadership is love with standards. Like, wow, what a dynamite moment at the end. And I think, Nick, that phrase is something I'm never going to forget.
No, absolutely. And I'm just a massive believer in there's just selling from the heart tie into all of this as we bring this wonderful conversation to a close, Darrell. So I just really believe in loving accountability, because if you ask most people, they think accountability and they're going to go to another side of this because it's all the negative stuff that's happened to them. Just bring a little love to accountability, help someone become a little bit better. Loving accountability, tie that into leadership. It's a wonderful 1-2 punch.
Yeah, it's a fantastic. Well, hey, thanks for joining us this week. Thank you to everybody who is sharing the podcast, leaving reviews. We're over a decade into this journey of authenticity and trust right here in the sales profession we all love. And I'm super thankful that you're a part of it.
Yeah, it takes a community to put this all together. We appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're always here to help you make a difference in your life and the lives of your clients.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us this week. Until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Remember, every player is bigger than the program, and most of all,
sell from the heart.